In the last part, we saw Xiao and her party take a boat across Hanshui towards Tanjin. The full moon shone brightly in the sky like refined jade on the 15th day of the 9th month. Large crowds of fireflies clustered around the sycamore trees outside the palace, giving off a blue glow as they circled around. The imperial palace was cold and deserted. White curtains were hung all over the palace, while pale white candles replaced the bright palace lights. Xiao followed behind the servants as she walked slowly. Jinwu Palace was still as big as ever, but it was now devoid of the melodious tunes that lasted into the night and the dancers with good figures. This majestic palace had suddenly become more spacious. The arrow pattern on her sleeve brushed against the two layers of the clothes that she was wearing, causing a rustling sound. The night was peaceful. Only the crows that flew over the sky could be seen, nestling on the tall rooftops. The color of twilight spread across the land. A heavy incense smell drifted out from the dense clusters of pine and cypress trees. Xiao looked far away, hearing the sounds of reverends chanting their sutras from a distance. A sense of emptiness filled her heart. Mihe residence was still the same. Sycamore trees decorated the background along with lotus ponds. As the cicadas chirped time after time, the pale moonlight shone through the windows. A few windows were left ajar in the western part of the palace, causing the humid winds to enter the building. The greenish-white curtains flew about in the air as an antique wine chime in front of the windows rang out. Its sounds were steel creeps, sounding like someone that was hammering at a layer of ice. Xiao sat at a table in between the curtains with two mats by his side. A green jade teapot and two white wine cups were placed on the table. The green curtains danced along with the winds as it swept across the big empty palace. Xiao's hair was laid down and hung by his sides. He was dressed in a dark shade of purple, with layer upon layer of green clouds embroidered on his outfit, with a sense of exquisiteness exclusive to the royals. His face glowed a pale white as he sat there under the moonlight, appearing like a still figure in a portrait. Xiao stood at the door as she supported herself against the green pillar, not knowing how to approach him. The night winds lifted the curtains gently. Xiao turned around, the moonlight still shining on his face. He was still handsome. As his eyes squinted, he gave up his usual fox-like appearance. Gently he said, "You are here." His voice was calm, but it evoked sadness in Zhou Xiao's heart. As she looked at him, he was still the same old person when she left, cheeky and playful, but wise beyond his years. Time had passed in a flash. Many things had happened which had overwhelmed her. At this moment, as she looked at him, she felt a sense of distance as her heart ached a little. Zhu Xiao walked in front and squatted in front of Xiao Jie. Her eyes teared up as she pouted. Xiao Jie smiled and caressed her hair, deliberately messing it up just like he had done before. Laughing, he said, "Why the depressed face? I am still alive." He was always so cheerful. Zhu Xiao felt even more saddened. Forcing out a smile, she nodded and replied, "It's good. You are all right." The window was half opened. The last lotus flower could be seen as it bloomed. Xiao Jie lowered his head as he brushed his finger against the flower pattern of the cup. He is a rebel. He can't be buried in the imperial mausoleum. I buried his body in the Lofo mountains. A gust of wind blew into the palace, causing the wind chime to let out a series of sounds. As they looked up, they saw the exquisite patterns carved onto the wind charm. At its edge, beautiful art patterns of flowers could be seen, adorned with a layer of golden powder on the top. Its color was still fresh despite having weathered the tides of time. Xiao Jie gulped down one cup of wine. With a calm look on his face, he said plainly, "Who else is buried there too?" He looked up, a deep look in his eyes. With a philosophical look in his eyes, he continued, "They were not born on the same day, but they were buried together. His death was not in vain." The palace quietened down. Zhu Xiao sat beside Xiao Jie, accompanying him as he downed cup after cup of wine. She did not sit opposite him, for she knew that the seat was not reserved for her. Under the lonely moonlight, he was waiting for a person whom he would never be able to see again. Thank you so much for watching. Stay with me, subscribe to the channel and like the video. Don't forget to click the bell icon to be notified of the next part of the story. Thank you.